All right, back again. That's the thing here with a new one. Episode 6, I believe, of Life Lessons. And in this video, I'm just going to talk about, reverse shaming. And the reason why I'm talking about that is because of a Family Guy episode that aired some weeks ago now. And it had a blurb in there about Mike Pence and him possibly being gay. And then it just reminded me of all the things that I've heard about him potentially being gay and the things that I hear from people, even on the left, And sorry about that. Microphone fell off. And so I've been hearing things, about Mike Pence possibly being gay, and it's coming from people on the left, and the tactic that they're using, it's quite shameful, I've always heard people use this tactic, and it's just kind of weird when you don't need to use it, because at the end of the day, we have the logic, we as the people on the left, we have the logic, we have facts, we have rationale and science all on our side. So there's no reason why we need to then stoop to their level and shame them to not do something, you know what I mean? Because the tactic that, people are using on Mike Pence and saying, oh, why do you have such a raging hard on against the LGBT community? Is it because you're secretly a closeted gay man? That whole tactic is something that the right wing do. And that's because they don't have anything solid for them to kind of, go on. So to get people to back down on challenging them, they shame you, right? So right wingers would be like, oh, why are you supporting the LGBT community? Is it because you're secretly gay? They'll use that as a way to kind of back you down from supporting, just human rights for the community. And I see the people on the left doing the same thing, but like I said, reverse shaming. So it's when the oppressed are now oppressing the oppressor type of thing. I mean, it still doesn't make it right. It's still disgusting, still stupid, because at the end of the day, if that's what you're going off of, and it's funny too, because, not only is it stupid, it's also slightly slanderous too, and defamatory. You're accusing someone of something that, that you have no proof of, right? And it's just a silly thing to do, because people would say, oh, those who preach the loudest are actually doing, the opposite of what they say or whatever, are doing the worst. Well, would you say that? It's funny because I wonder if those same people who are saying that, would you say that about people who say, okay, child sex trafficking is wrong, rape is wrong and all that stuff, and they're going around trying to encourage people to, call out child sex trafficking and to, call out rape and all those things, Would you say that, they're actually saying that because they're actually in favor of it, right? Would you say that to them? It's like, no, it's only when people don't either care for what you're saying, or they don't have an argument against what you're saying, or, they simply just don't want to be bothered by you, right? They'll just say, oh, you're just saying that because you're really in favor. It's just a way to write you off right away. To do that ad hominem, reverse shaming, everything you say is actually opposite of what you mean type of tactic, and it's just stupid, because, okay, so if that's the case, then if I was to say, okay, so then that means if someone says that they're against rape, it actually means they're for rape. So then they should say they're for rape in order to be against it. But then when they say they're for it, then you'll be, aha, we knew you were a sick bastard. So it's like, you can't win either way. You have a passion for something, and you're trying to get awareness to it, and you start speaking your mind on it. Whether you're right or wrong, I guess, is a different story. But you have some drive to, champion this issue, and so you want to go out there and spread your message, and then when you do it, people are saying, oh no, because you're spreading the message the loudest, it must mean that you're actually doing the opposite. It's like it's just dumb, it's a dumb tactic, and I see it all the time from people on the right. It's because they don't have anything to support what they're saying, so that's how they go after other people and get them to back down and to silence them. But to see it from people on the left too, it's just shameful. It's like, we don't need to do that. There's no reason to do that, but it's okay. But people see it as being okay because, oh no, they're punching up type of thing. It's the oppressed going after the oppressor, so it's okay. I'm like, no, still not okay. It's a stupid tactic, and it doesn't help further any conversation. We don't need to shame Pence in order to get him to back down. I mean, just attack his argument, attack his position with logic, with facts, with science and all that, you'll be fine. You don't need to attack him personally. Because, I mean, just even imagine that, if he really is gay, the things that he's trying to do are ultimately going to hurt him, So imagine how much he must hate himself if he's willing to go that far and start instituting things and start attacking the community that he is a part of secretly, whatever, assuming he is gay, right? But yeah, so I mean, that's actually quite sad if that's the case. I don't think we need to attack him and rub it in, whatever. Just attack him on his argument. And personally, I don't think he's gay. Like, I don't know what people see that make them think he is. To me, I can't see it. I don't see what they're getting at. But I think what people are mainly going off of is the fact that, we had people in the past who were really staunch, anti-gay people, but then they turned out to be gay themselves, or involved in whatever, And that's another thing I don't like. It's like, so it's like a guilt by association thing. It's like, just because you found, a few people, or maybe even, let's say, tens of people, right, that were very staunchly in favor of something, but then were caught doing the other thing. People like to really grab onto that because that's really salacious, and that's really like, oh wow, it's like, yeah, see, is that kind of thing where you can use that now to tarnish the whole group, right? Like, I've seen that used so many times where it's like a guilt by association thing. They find the defectors who are speaking the loudest, and then they assume that anyone else who is also speaking the same thing, or speaking just as loud or even louder, is also doing, the opposite that they caught these defectors doing. I'm like, you can't do that, That's, like I said, guilt by association. It's not a valid way to, go after someone. Where's your proof that, say, if I'm in that group that's speaking the loudest, where's your proof that that I am also part of the defectors, Don't just wrap me in because, they're in my group and we're both speaking the loudest. Like, you can't just then say that, because these tens of people were caught doing the opposite thing of what they were preaching, that everyone who is preaching is also doing the opposite. It's a dumb way to try and justify things and to just diminish people's, character, because the media and individuals, they'll really harp on those who, defected, but then they won't mention the hundreds or thousands of people, around the nation or around the world that still have those same views, that haven't defected, that are still within the group and haven't been caught doing the opposite, or haven't shown any inclination to doing the opposite. They don't talk about those people because, they don't fit that, salacious narrative of saying one thing but doing the other. I've seen that so many times, not just with issues of, human rights in the gay community, but, animal rights and other things like that. Whenever someone doesn't want to deal with you, or whenever they can't deal with what you're saying, they'll find a way to wiggle out of it by saying, you're just saying that, but we all know that you people are actually doing the opposite. It's like, why do you think that I'm doing the opposite? Well, because these people were also like you, saying that they were doing this thing, but they were doing the opposite. Well, are we all like a monolithic group? If everyone is doing one opposite thing, then we're all doing the opposite thing? It's like, no, we're all individuals. Like, okay, they were doing the opposite thing, doesn't mean I'm doing the opposite thing. But it's just a cheap way to lump everyone up into one group and then cast them aside. When you don't want to deal with them, or you don't know how to deal with you don't know how to deal with them, it's a very easy way to just dismiss someone. And it's funny too, because the same people who would be using that logic, to wrap everyone up, they wouldn't be doing that if it was like a race-related thing. It's like, oh, the last 10 people that did a mass shooting were all white. Must mean that all white people, are doing mass shootings or are mass shooters. It's like, no. Or the last 10 murders that happened were done by, say black individuals. Must mean that black individuals are doing all the murders. It's like, no. Or the last few terrorist attacks were done by X religion. Must mean that all people in X religion are terrorists. It's like, oh my God. You wouldn't accept that logic in anywhere else, but it's okay to use it, on certain things that you personally don't like or don't care for. But when it comes to affecting you, then it's like, hey, no, that's not fair. It's like, aha, it's not. But yeah, you'll still do it for other people, or in other situations, you'll use it to your benefit. It's just a stupid thing, because then, like I said, everything just has to become opposite now, right? Everything is opposite day, where, oh, those slave masters, they weren't really for slavery because they were preaching the loudest, right? So that must mean they were actually against slavery. And those that were against slavery, they were actually for slavery because they were also, so, everything is just all topsy-turvy, Everyone's saying, oh no, those who preach the loudest are actually doing the opposite, or are doing the worst, you know what I mean? It's just a stupid way to go about things. And so, that's, my spiel on reverse shaming. It's not just shaming either. You can also find it in reverse racism. It's any time that the oppressor is now being the oppressed, it's that reverse. Whenever that happens, or not even oppressor, but generally people that have been, I guess, belittled and mocked or whatever, whenever now they get a chance to do it to the people that did it to them, even though it may not be the exact same people, it's just people that are from that group of people, so it's not even like they're actually really attacking, not in all cases anyway, that they're really attacking those individuals that were attacking them. It's just that now they're attacking that group of people that were attacking them. And either way, like I said, whether it's reverse shaming, whether it's the original shaming, it's all stupid, it's all dumb. Like, you don't need to do any of that low blow tactics, attack people on their arguments. You don't need to go after their personal character and do defamation and, say all these stupid things about someone, with ad hominems. Just go after their argument. We can do that. We can do that on the left. We have facts. We have science, we have, rationale, all this stuff on our side. So let's use it, okay? And stop always trying to say, oh no, Pence, he's really gay. He's actually gay, Why is he going after the community? Why is he even raging hard on against the LGBT community? It must be because he's closetly gay. It's like, oh my God, guys, can we not? Unless you have proof that he is, then just shut up. Really though. Because I'm getting tired of people doing this. And I ain't no fan of Pence, just to be clear, I don't like Pence. I don't like the Republicans. I ain't no right winger, but we don't need to stoop to their tactics in order to make our point, It's not necessary. It's not required. You know what I mean? So let's not bother. Just go after their arguments. We can do that. But anyway, everyone wants to play games, which is why I brought out the PlayStation hoodie, I'm like, okay, if you want to play games, then just let me know. Is it 4K or 1080p? But, that's it for me. As always, that's the thing.